everybody. How are you doing? And welcome back to another episode of the Unbearable podcast. Another positive episode. The Bears do manage to get a win over Carolina. I'm Drew Testa, and with me, as always, is Ryan Voss. Voss, how are you feeling after a big Bears win?
Hey, we're at the top of the division, sitting pretty at 5-1. I mean, I feel really good. It doesn't matter how you get here. All it matters is that you're 5-1.
I agreed, and that's something that Nick Foles talked about in his post-game interview after the game, which watching I saw later on Twitter, and it really got me motivated, and it really showed the passion he has for this team and what he thinks this group of guys could do.
You can't question his leadership. I mean, he's definitely a better leader than Trubisky. And, you said he wanted to run through a brick wall after hearing that. I felt the same way. I mean, I really hope. I think Nick Foles is fine for now. I think we're going to win some games with him. We might even, dare I say, go on a little bit of a playoff run. But I really hope that next year in the draft, we're able to draft a young guy so this guy can learn behind Foles, because Foles isn't forever. But I want our next quarterback to have that leadership Foles has, because it really did make me want to run through a brick wall.
Agreed. And I know it's, not fun looking to the future when your team's 5-1, but it does need to be brought up. I agree. Obviously, Nick Foles isn't going to be here forever. And even if it's not this year, if there's no quarterback that the Bears and Ryan Pace likes in this draft, I wouldn't be opposed to waiting maybe another year if Nick Foles thinks he could stick around, because the last thing we need is to make another mistake at the quarterback position the way we did with Mitchell Trubisky.
Hey, I just want to say, shout out my guy, Nick Foles. I got my 9-inch Nick shirt on. I mean, I'm rocking with Foles. The problem is everyone's saying, oh, this team's 5-1, but they're the worst 5-1 team ever.
We could be 15-1, and people would say we're the worst team of all time.
It's because we don't have a great offense. We're not winning games how typical wins come in the NFL nowadays. We don't have a quarterback that's going to go out there and throw 5 touchdowns and 400 passing yards. I mean, we're winning games by honestly a little bit of luck. I don't know how we're finding a way to win these games, but mainly our defense. Our defense is really coming through for us, especially that pass rush. It's looking awesome.
Agreed. And I think, like you said, part of the reason is we're not Kansas City. We don't have a Patrick Mahomes. We're not Baltimore. We don't have a Lamar Jackson. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. And I will take winning, if it's not as exciting, over having, oh, look at this guy we got. Look at this guy we got. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey over the field. As long as we're getting wins, I'm not going to complain how it's coming. I agree.
I think that's what Nick Foles might have said. It was either him or another Bears player said, I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. And I mean, that's exactly it. And he was saying he knows what needs to be done, and he's going to go out there and the team's going to get better. I mean, they can only get better. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't see this team taking it down. I see them only going up. So
I agree. But as good as they did look today, excuse me, sorry. As good as they have looked today, it could have been even worse or better, depending on how you look at it. Eddie Jackson, another touchdown taken away from him. Jaylen Johnson, pass interference in the end zone, which I could watch that play a million times and not understand how that's pass interference, which set them up for an easy touchdown. So it's nice to win, but when you look at what could have happened, it kind of makes it look even better for the Bears.
I think that's what we could get right into the game, because first thing, the Bears get an interception. They're in the red zone, and then they come out really hot, but then they have all these delay of games, and it's just that's just the perfect thing for the Bears. Like, the defense is doing awesome, but then the offense can't even function properly.
It was really frustrating because we had, I believe it was 3rd and goal, if I remember correctly. We didn't like the set we were in. We almost got a delay of game, and we called timeout. And I remember them taking Jimmy Graham off the field, which I thought was confusing. I'm like, why are we taking Jimmy Graham off the field? It's 3rd and goal. And then we got a delay of game that set us back. Obviously, it didn't end up hurting the Bears because Cole Kmet, one of our guys, scored his first career touchdown on that next play. But when you call a timeout, take your best red zone target off the field and then take a delay of game. That's not a very good look.
Yeah, it's not great coaching. I don't know what was up there, but I'm also happy you brought up Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham's worth the money for this play on the field, but I also think he's worth the money just for mentoring Cole Kmet. If Cole Kmet can be, half as good as what Jimmy Graham was at his prime, I think everyone would be happy with that. I'm really happy that Cole Kmet got in there, and he got an awesome touchdown, double coverage. Nick Foles did kind of thread the needle, but he jumped up. He looked athletic. People, I just hope it could put Bears fans just put them at ease because they're always saying we need to get Komet involved, need to get Komet involved. Well, he's a rookie. Like
Yeah.
rookie tight ends, they take a minute. So I'm happy he got the touchdown. Now maybe Bears fans can take a deep breath about him.
Yeah, it was a great catch by Cole Kmet on his touchdown. And I think even though he's not on the field as much as, some fans may like, me included, I would like to see him more. But when he makes plays like that, it kind of makes you excited for the future and really shows his potential and what he could be for this team when he makes
Right.
grabs like that.
He flashed. That's all we
Yeah.
need to see this season is flashes. He doesn't need to go out there and be a top 10 tight end,
No, yeah, definitely agreed. I do want to talk a little bit about the Bears' run defense because it's something we talked about that they hadn't been very good at lately. And coming into this game, Mike Davis, although he may not be a huge name, and he's definitely not the running back Christian McCaffrey, it's not even close, but the Bears' run defense looked really, really good today. Probably the best it's looked all year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we held Mike Davis to 52 yards. I did notice during the game that Teddy Bridgewater was picking up a lot of, yards on us, but that was because everything was kind of covered up downfield.
Yeah.
They also, in the middle of the coverage, they showed a like a highlight reel of this Bears defense, and then every single it was just play after play of this defensive line just throwing Teddy Bridgewater around, made him look like a rag doll. Like they really got up after Teddy Bridgewater. So I think the play of this defensive line really is what saved us today. It got us the dub, and that was stepping up, making the run game better, and also the pass rush was on point today.
Agreed. And another player who's been struggling a little bit this year has been Roquan Smith, but I think he actually played a very good game today. He made a lot of good plays in the run. He blew up a couple of screens. And if this is the Roquan Smith we're going to get the rest of the season, this is really exciting to see.
So I agree. He really flashed today. Another player, three players I want to highlight. I thought early on in the game, Bilal Nichols looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought that was almost a safety. Number two, I think Mario Edwards Jr., he's kind of a sleeper pick. He looked really great on the defensive line. And also Bojack. I told you in our pregame pod that I just had a feeling he was going to get a lot of turnovers. And he had really one, but he had two. And I thought he played a great game as always.
Yeah, how cool was it to see Akeem Hicks with the football after he recovered that fumble? I think that was awesome to see.
Yep.
But yeah, Eddie Jackson, this is not the first time this season he's kind of been screwed out of a touchdown. And you could tell it's frustrating him. But as long as he keeps putting himself in position to make those plays and to get those opportunities, eventually things are going to fall his way.
Yep. He should have 8 in his career, which that's crazy for 8 scores from a defensive player, but it's only 6. I saw someone tweeting about it earlier. Another person in the secondary we should talk about is Jaylen Johnson. I think DJ Moore might have bettered him.
Got the better of him.
That?
Yeah. Yeah. DJ Moore, though, it's not like he's, some guy. DJ Moore is a really good wide receiver in this league. So it's no shame to kind of get beat by him, especially as a rookie. But from the get-go, you could just tell that was Carolina's offensive plan is whenever we get DJ Moore one-on-one with Jaylen Johnson, we're going to try to throw him the ball in that situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. They really took advantage of Jaylen Johnson, DJ Moore. They did shut down Robbie Anderson, though. He was on my fantasy team, and he was non-existent in the first half. But in the second half, he got some plays. But I thought Kyle Fuller did a good job locking down Robbie Anderson.
Speaking of Kyle Fuller, a lot of cornerbacks in the NFL don't really want to tackle people. He's not one of those guys. Yeah. He's ready to go in there and make a hit. And he picked up a flag today, which is kind of ticky-tacky.
I thought it was a flag.
Yeah, when I was watching the game, I kind of thought, I could see why they would call it because the receiver was kind of giving himself up. He was going down. But it seems like all those hard hits, ticky-tacky calls, it seems like this season they have always gone against the Bears. Every single time, it seems like.
I just remember when you were talking about Roquan, he did lead the team in 12 tackles today. Same with Danny Trevathan with 10. That's a wide margin there. So I think you're right that the linebacker play really stepped up today. I did notice Danny Trevathan, 59, making some more plays. So I got to be really happy with that. I thought the defense is great as always. You want to move on to the offense?
Yeah, I think the run game progressed a lot today. It's still not where I want to see it at, but we had a very productive day for our standards running the ball today. And Montgomery had a couple runs where it looked like he could have broke a really big one, but Montgomery was picking up pretty good chunks of yardage today, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he had 58 rushing yards, but he also got really involved. He has got 4 catches for 40 yards. I thought Montgomery had some really good flashes that showed that he really can be a great back. I don't think the offensive line helped him out at all today, but he had
No.
some great, yards that went for like 10 yards where he was making plays out of nothing. And I'm a big fan of David Montgomery. He may not get the love and respect from other Bears fans, but I think a lot of the problem is the offensive line and maybe the play calling sometimes. Maybe they're not running the play in the run play in the best situation. But I mean, I like what I see out of him. I'm not complaining one bit.
He should have had a touchdown today too, but obviously they reversed it. The call got overturned. We ended up scoring anyway. But I mean, that was as close as you can get not scoring to come actually close to scoring. It doesn't get any closer than that.
I think the Bears have a new number 2 wide receiver. I think
Darnell
Darnell,
Mooney.
yeah, he's so much better than Anthony Miller, and I hate to say it because Anthony Miller has got so much talent, but he's had like one decent game this season. Other than that, he's been a non-factor.
Agreed. And although I will say on our first touchdown, I believe it was first and goal, he was wide open, streaking to the corner of the end zone, and Nick Foles kind of just missed him. So that kind of hurts him. But no, Darnell Mooney made a couple of really good catches today, and his route running for a rookie is off the charts. He knows how to run routes, and it looks like he can run every route in the tree.
Especially for the 25th wide receiver picked in this draft.
Yeah.
Like 25 or 24 guys went ahead of him, and he's out here. It looks like he fits right in. He's perfect for this offense.
Yeah, he brings a lot to the table because he obviously has a lot of speed. He could be used as a deep threat, but when you get a deep threat, you want him to be more than that. And Darnell Mooney looks like he could be more than that. And as he progresses, I'm excited to see what he could do moving forward because I think he has a lot of potential.
I want to talk a little bit too about Nick Foles' play.
Okay.
When he had that one interception, and it pissed me off because I mean,
Yeah.
when you have to sprint backwards 10 yards and then throw off your back foot, you don't throw the ball. I mean, I know that's bad pass protection. He was getting someone breathing down his face, but like just don't throw the ball because then got picked off, and then the game kind of we didn't you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know what he was thinking there. That I think it might have just been a case of trying to make too much happen and trying to capitalize off a turnover.
He's Nick Foles. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay, like
He needs to settle down a little bit. But the one thing I will say about Foles, and as bad of a play that was, he seems unfazed. He made that mistake, and then he came right back out there ready to go, which is something you want in your quarterback. Yeah, but another thing is, I mean, you just got to know situations. The Bears had just gotten a turnover. We had great field position. Just throw the ball away. If worst comes to worst, we kick a field goal on that drive. And we had guaranteed points that possession, especially the way Santos has been playing, which has been amazing. And that's just a throw you can't make that throw. But I think he knows that, and I think that's not a mistake he's got to continuously make.
We haven't talked special teams at all actually on this podcast, but do you think that Eddie Pinheiro lost his job?
Yeah. I'm going to say Cairo Santos, he's been knocking kicks down all year. And that's so good to see as a Bears fan because that's kind of been our Achilles heel the last few years. But he's just looked like every time he's called upon. I can't remember the last time the Bears had a kicker, and it's like when he was out there, you was like, yeah, he's going to make this kick. Like, I have 100% confidence in him right now. I haven't said that in a long time.
He has one miss, but it doesn't seem like it really phased him. Like, when Cody Parkey had a miss, like, I feel like you could almost expect another miss. Cairo Santos has one miss on the year, and ever since then, he's been perfect. So, you got to love that a lot. And then back to the offense real quick. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say. Dude, I'm not with it today. I'm so sorry. Can you talk?
Okay, no, you're all good, bro. Yeah, but the offense, it's doing what it needs to do. It's saying, hey, defense, go be the superior unit. We'll back you up when we need to. And every time it seems like there's been points where, like, you need to score here, obviously outside of that Foles throw, they've come through. The only main critique I have on the offense this week, and it's not really the offense's fault. I blame it more on play calling, but we had a chance to put them away. The Panthers give us the ball. It's 2 minutes left in the game. They have all 3 timeouts, and on third down, we pass the ball, throw an incomplete pass. You got to run the ball there. Even if you don't pick it up, you got to run the ball there.
It would take a lot more time off the clock. I mean, I agree with that 100%. And that's actually what I was going to say, and I forgot. I don't know if the stats actually tell this story, but I feel like the Bears weren't the best on third down today.
No.
I feel like it just felt like they were really struggling to pick up first downs today.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't hurt us in the long run, obviously, and in the red zone, I feel like on third down they were able to convert quite a bit, which is the main factor. But in terms of just keeping the chains moving and controlling the ball, that's definitely something they have to work on next week.
Yeah,
Sure.
it just didn't seem like they had a good rhythm today.
Yeah, they didn't have a signature like couple things that they can go to and say, hey, on third down, we're coming to you. This is the play we're running. It kind of just looked like they were out there guessing, and that's never a good sign, especially in a close game.
You mentioned you want to get this going next week. Do you want to talk about next week just a little bit? Because just a little bit.
Yeah, a little teaser for next week. Obviously, we're playing the Rams primetime game. We're 1-0 in primetime this year, so if there's a positive moving forward, it's that. But the Rams are playing right now. I'm actually not sure what the score is. Last time I checked, they were losing.
That's why I keep turning around. The 49ers are actually blowing out the Rams.
Okay, that's what I predicted on this show. Last episode, I said the 49ers would win.
You did
But
say that.
yeah, but the Rams, they're no joke, man. They obviously have an elite wide receiver core, a really good quarterback, a group of running backs that can get it done collectively, and in my opinion, two of probably the top 5, if not 10, defensive players in the league. So it's gonna be a good game for sure.
No, when the Bears, the line opened up for this, the Rams are -6.5.
Jeez.
Yeah, right. Even though the Bears are 5-1, number 1 in the NFC North, they're still being disrespected. That's why I want to talk about it. I just can't believe. I mean, what does this Bears team have to do? It's not like they played scrubs. Like, they played some decent teams. You saw what the Buccaneers did to Aaron Rodgers today.
They made him get benched.
After he was up 10-0,
Yeah.
I mean, they embarrassed him. 2 pick six back to back. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I wanted to bring up next week, because I don't know how we open up the line almost -7, like almost, the Rams are favored by a touchdown. I mean, this team is so disrespected, and I think this is a great team. If you're 5-1, if you think about other teams that are 5-1, you would go like, wow, that's a great team. Why are we saying the Bears aren't a great team? You don't get to 5-1 by accident. Like, they gotta be good. I mean, they're doing something right, and you can't knock them, like I was saying earlier, because they don't have a top 10 offense. They're winning games other ways, and what's the problem with that if they're winning,
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just the lack of big name offensive weapons. You look at the other elite teams in the NFL. You look at Tennessee. Well, they got Derrick Henry. You look at Kansas City. They got Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey Hill. We could make a laundry list of their guys. Obviously, we talk about Baltimore. They got Lamar Jackson. And I think when you don't have maybe that big time offensive player, people just kind of think, oh, well, their offense is terrible. And that's not the case with our team. It's not the best, but it's far from terrible.
It's just, I feel like we don't have disrespect, like, oh, the Bears are just going to Bears. Okay, well, you think about the last 3 seasons, and I understand that this season is this season, but we were 12-4, we were 8-8, now we're 5-1. It's not like we're just some fluke, and last year we were terrible. I mean, like, we've been consistent the past couple of years. Matt Nagy's 25-13 in his head coach
I think
career.
what a lot of it has to do, that's a good point, but obviously going into last season, a lot of people predicted us to if not make the playoffs, win some playoff games. And the fact that we underachieved, and I think we could both say we underachieved last season. And I think people are like, oh, they're terrible. They were 1 year, this is that. They're the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't think that stench is quite wore off yet.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
So hopefully with another primetime victory, maybe people will start to buy into us. Because, I mean, like I said, the Buccaneers aren't a joke, and we were just putting some respect on the Rams. So if we beat the Buccaneers and the Rams, what more do we have to do beyond that? I think we should be safe to say, okay, this team's it's a contender, not a pretender.
And yeah, going back on it though, even if we lose next week, which I'm not obviously wishing for, and I'm not going to give my prediction yet because you got to watch next episode to see that. But even if we lose next week, let's just say it happens, we're still 5-2.
Right.
You can't really be mad about that.
And there's a lot of easy games left on this schedule. And I was going through it today, and I mean, I think there's no reason the Bears can't be 10-6. I think they'll actually be better than that. But like, the floor, I think, for this team is 10-6.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I don't know the Bears schedule by heart, but you think about, we played Minnesota twice. They just got embarrassed by the Falcons, who we beat. The Lions again, Jacksonville, Houston, who's not very good this year. I mean, there's a lot of games that you look at the schedule and it's like, okay, those are W's. So.
And who knows? They might be able to take one away from the Rams, which I was counting that one as a loss, I think. So I think that this team should at least be 10-6, and that's good enough for a playoff spot, especially when there's 7 playoff teams now going forward.
You know what they say? Once you get to the dance, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen.
All right. It seems like this has been going on for a little bit, so we should probably shut it down. Appreciate you guys watching. Drew, any closing thoughts?
I just want to say, be sure to check later in the week. I'm sure we'll have not only our prediction episode up, but also another picks episode, which you guys seem to be enjoying. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we should have guests throughout the week. We might have the guests that we were supposed to have on tonight. If not, maybe a couple of our other dumbass friends will come on and hang out, and we'll just shoot the shit. So appreciate you guys watching. Bear down, and we're 5-1, baby. You got to be happy about that.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys.
See you.